What is good, defenders, and welcome. It's the night before a match, so you know what that means. It's time for one more sleep, one more time against the Vancouver Whitecaps. That's right. For the 11th time in the last two seasons. No, really, the 11th time in the last two seasons. The 22nd meeting all time, tied with Seattle for the second most ever against LAFC. Vancouver, LAFC for Vancouver's life in the 2024 MLS Cup playoffs. What's good to everybody in the chat? It's a solo scarf endeavor tonight. You guys know my voice. It's the scarf, J.R. Liebert. Philly calling a game out at UC Riverside. So it is all scarf all the time on this one. Want to give a shout out to everybody who's accessing us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on everywhere else where you get your Defenders of the Bank content. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We so appreciate it. And while I've got everybody here, want to say a big shout out and congratulations to a friend beyond friend of the pod, Defenders of the Bank, Nick Ronis. Nick, the big guy, for all of you guys who have been tuning in for us for forever, the big guy, Nick, his family owns a bunch of farms up in Central and Northern California, and they also own a couple of horses, and his horse, Full Serrano, won the dirt mile at the Breeders' Cup today. A huge feat for Nick. So really cool. I want to give Nick a shout out from all of your Defenders family, my friend. We so appreciate you and congratulate you. All right, folks, 11 times in 2 years, 5 times this year, 6 times last year. Let's hope this does not have to go to a 6th game in 2024. Vanni Sartini and the boys head to the friendly confines of BC Place. But are those confines really all that friendly to Vancouver? We mentioned it. We've played them 11 times now in the last 2 seasons. 4 of those times have been at BC Place. Vancouver has failed to win in any of those 4 matches. They've taken just 1 point. And everybody in the chat, hello. I love the love. Mendo, Punk, Cougar, Smurdy, Soccer Nerd, Oscar, everybody who's there on StreamYard. Really appreciate it. And Carson going to be playing Minnesota in that next round. Izzy, what is good? Carson going to be playing Minnesota, and that is a tough Minnesota club for sure, the way that they took it to Real Salt Lake. But I don't think these confines are really all that friendly for Vancouver. Let's go over the videotape. On April 6th of last year, LAFC helps knock Vancouver out of the 2023 CONCACAF Champions League by beating them at BC Place 3-0. Then in the regular season, we get a 1-1 draw against them October 22nd of last year. And that's the only point they've been able to take away from LAFC in Vancouver. Towards the end of last season, of course, we beat them 1-0 on November 6th to knock them out of the 2023 MLS Cup playoffs. And this year, we went up there October 14th and beat them 2-1 in the regular season in that really weird match where we got a goal from Matty Bogusz in the middle and we got a goal from Ilya Sanchez at the death, but really didn't play well. We really haven't played great against Vancouver over our last couple of matches. So I'm here to tell you guys, let's not forget what happened last match against Vancouver. Vancouver came ready. JC, appreciate you on Instagram so much. Thank you. Let's talk about what happened in a first half that was edgy at best. Remember, we came away with the 2-1 victory and we're up 2-0. But in that first half, in the 7th minute, Brian White hitting the post off that beautiful pass from Stuart Armstrong. In the 14th minute, Pedro Vite sliding one just wide off of a pass from Stuart Armstrong. And in stoppage time, Ryan Gauld hitting the woodwork off of a set piece 2 times they struck wood in the first half, Giggity. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess for us, no goals for Vancouver. But this is a club that could have put a lot more pressure on us than they did. And just imagine if these playoffs were home and road aggregate matches, how big that 5th-minute stoppage time goal would have been for Vancouver to steal a goal late on the road. If we were playing on aggregate in these playoffs, that would have been a huge issue for LAFC. Luckily, a 2-1 win is the same as a 5-0 win, is the same as a 5-4 shootout win when you're biting your nails and you're losing your cuticles. So a win is a win is a win. It doesn't matter how, which is how ridiculous this format really is. But oh my goodness, Vancouver really took us to task for some of the mistakes that we made. I mean, just looking at that stoppage time sloppy goal where we couldn't clear the ball very well. Ilie had a bad turnover. We were just discombobulated in the box. And their subs, Sebastian Berhalter and Damir Kreilach, had a lot to do with that goal. So you're looking at Vanni Sartini pushing the right buttons late. Unfortunately, LAFC just too talented over the course of the first 90 minutes, controlling a lot of the force of play, a lot of the run of play. And we got lucky in the first half, folks. Really, for the second half, it was mostly LAFC. It was one-way traffic. In fact, that shot on goal in the 5th minute of stoppage time where they scored was really their first dangerous effort in quite some time. So LAFC's defense, while it was very, very good for the final 45 minutes, left a little to be desired in the first 45 and certainly right at the end. And maybe it's because we put in Carlos Vela and maybe not a defender. I'm just saying, maybe we choose to park the bus with a 5th defender or with somebody else, and that doesn't happen. Carlos did get a touch on that free kick, and I thought there'd be some Carlos Vela magic on that one. Not sure if we will see Carlos Vela in this one on turf after not having played all season. I don't think we're very likely to see Carlos Vela. I think that we're very likely to see a lot of Olivier Giroud, sure. And I think that we'll expect maybe Kai Kamara, maybe David Martinez, maybe an Edward Atuesta to come off the bench late and help salt this one away for LAFC. But I would not expect to see El Rey in Vancouver. And again, there's also plenty for LAFC to worry about if you just look at the results from the last couple of matches. I mean, come on. Look at what the Columbus Crew had done to them at home by the New York Red Bulls. Big upset there. Look at what Atlanta did in Atlanta. The house that Blank built, unbelievable. The 2-1 upset over Miami in Atlanta. So now they're dragging Miami back to Fort Lauderdale to play one more match. These older guys going to have to turn it up one more time. I mean, can you imagine? Just imagine if Red Bulls pull off the upset, if Atlanta pulls off the upset. Obviously, Carson came ready for Colorado. We've got to come ready for Vancouver. It's going to be a very interesting series to see what happens there between Carson and Minnesota. But, oh my goodness, Atlanta doing the unthinkable, Red Bulls doing the unthinkable. So please don't think that LAFC has a walk in the park when we head up to BC Place. And with that being said, since it's just me and I've already been talking for 10 minutes straight here, I love all of you, and I know you guys support the hell out of Defenders of the Bank, but let's get right to it. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to my players to watch, and I chose two because Philly's not here. So I had to bring Philly just a little bit. Mendo, thank you. I appreciate here. Mendo says, for those of you who are driving to Vancouver, it's a 20-hour drive, so you got to leave right now. That means that Scarf is not driving to Vancouver this time. I don't know that Scarf will ever, I hate referring to myself in third person. I don't know that I, Scarf, will ever do a 20-hour drive like that again straight That was a lot going on to get up to Vancouver. It was a lot of fun for sure. I'm taking Denis Bouanga first and foremost because, well, he's the man. And in order to beat the man, in order to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And I don't think Vancouver is going to be able to beat Denis Bouanga on his best day. And I think that is exactly what he might have. I think it's at least one, if not a brace for Denis Bouanga. And I think we've got a closer in Kai Kamara in this match. I think Kai Kamara, to me, might be the best late game substitute in all of Major League Soccer for these playoffs. I think it is absolutely integral that we involve Kai Kamara as soon as he gets into the match. But here's the best part. It's not integral to Kai Kamara that he gets involved right away, because he plays so hard each and every minute that he is out there. And, oh, by the way, stays on side quite a bit more than our number 9 does. I think Denis Bouanga and Kai Kamara are going to have a ton to do with our final scoreline. But anything and everything that happens in Vancouver is going to go through Ryan Gauld and Stuart Armstrong. Stuart Armstrong, who came over from the English Championship, where he had a very good season on a free transfer to Vancouver, is now the glue that connects Ryan Gauld and Brian White up top, something that they have been missing for quite a while. And I really do like the play of Stuart Armstrong. He didn't have that much of an effect in the match after the first 15 or so minutes, but he gave a great opportunity to Brian White and a great opportunity to Pedro Vite in the first 15. And he is a guy who, if you do not come correct from the jump, Stuart Armstrong will find a way to make your life miserable in the midfield. He is a player who we do not have a lot of experience seeing. This is not Sebastian Berhalter or Fafa Picault or Ryan Raposo or any of the number of players that we are used to seeing over and over and over again. This is a player who is fresh to the rivalry, fresh to MLS, and somebody who I think could really be a key cog in anything Vancouver does. I don't need to explain to you why Ryan Gauld is a key cog. In fact, he's one of the best playmakers in all of Major League Soccer this season. He has been incredible. So if it comes through Ryan Gauld and Stuart Armstrong and they're able to put passes together and string opportunity after opportunity together for the Whitecaps, we are going to be in a bit of trouble. But I just don't see that happening as much, especially playing on turf in Vancouver. So what are my keys to the match? First and foremost, make the easy clearance. I'd much rather live to fight another day by clearing the ball long or out of bounds than trying to make a clear through the center of the park, trying to pass it back through the box, trying to pass it back through the middle of the pitch. I'd much rather play the margins, live to fight another day. LAFC's set-piece defense has been much more solid. Throw-in defense, other than the long throw-ins that tend to give us trouble every now and then, our throw-in defense has been fantastic. Our corner kick defense has been solid. I would much rather live to fight another day by making the easy clearance. Yes, maybe that means we don't possess the ball as much. Maybe that means we don't counter as much down the wings by not trying to make some of those clearance passes, those outlets, so that we are on the break. But I really do feel like in a match like this, especially on turf, especially where weird bounces can doom a team. I mean, we are talking about a very different match if Tristan Blackman's arm doesn't go blah, 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 right after he takes that shot from Matty Bogusz. So it's one of those things where it prevents those little plays, those odd bounces from happening. And I think that's absolutely integral for LAFC to be able to come on top. But the other one is to spread out their back line. They like to play in that low block. They like to counter. And honestly, it's one of those things where with all of the weaponry that we have, if we are putting Sergi Palencia and Ryan Hollingshead and Matty Bogusz and Kike Oliveira and Denis Bouanga and Olivier Giroud and anybody else who's playing up top, hopefully it'll be David Martinez. We have so many fast weapons out there. And if it's on a set piece, we have Olivier Giroud. If it's on a set piece, we have Maxime Chanot. I'm telling you, if we can just figure out how to spread their back line out, all that matters is that we make that final pass. And we've seen the passes that Matty Bogusz has been able to make this season. We've seen the passes that Denis Bouanga has been able to make this season. And we've seen the passes that Kike Oliveira, we've seen the passes that guys like Ilie and Atuesta and Tillman and everybody else involved in the midfield. I'm telling you guys, if we spread out the back line, it is all over. It is a wrap. So spreading out the back line, making the easy clearance, that's all it's going to take. And still, I think this is going to be one heck of a close match. You've got a club who has played us now 11 times in 2 seasons. This will be time number 11. There is nothing about the black and gold that scares Vancouver at this point, mainly because it doesn't matter who steps out onto BC Place's turf for them tomorrow. Tomorrow, their season is on the line. That's it. Their season is on the line. It doesn't matter if it's us. It doesn't matter if it's Paris Saint-Germain or Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich or anybody else lining up across from them on the pitch. It actually isn't going to play into their psyche at all. They have one job tomorrow: survive. And that is a dangerous, dangerous club to have to play. We've knocked them out of the CONCACAF Champions League last season. We knocked them out of the playoffs last season. And now we are trying, and will, for the 3rd time in 2 years, to knock them out of something that they feel like they can win. So for LAFC, it is going to be a hard-fought victory. I still think Vancouver's offense is good enough, and I think the only reason why I have 3-2 and not 3-1 is because I think the soccer gods watched last match and they thought, okay, we gave the black and gold a little bit of the sprinkle of good stuff by having that handball go off of Tristan Blackman. I'm thinking right now that there could be a little bit of the soccer gods magic for Vancouver. Abel, I laughed so hard right now when you just said the Canucks are fighting for their season now because the season just started. It's funny. I get it. I see what you're saying. But I'm telling you guys right now, a team with their back against the wall with everything to play for, we are going to see their level best, and not because we are we are LAFC, not because we are the best club in Major League Soccer, not because we won the championship recently and we've got the star and we've got the target on our back, only because we're it between them and a long vacation in and around the greater Vancouver area. So I think it's going to be 3-2, and I think it's going to be Denis Bouanga with a brace and Kai Kamara putting the exclamation point, the stamp on it. And then who knows, maybe they get another goal late to make it 3-2 rather than 3-1. And we have to live through nervous time for the last little bit of stoppage. But I'm telling you, I think it is going to be one of those classic matches. I hope I'm wrong. I hope LAFC comes out and in the first couple of minutes is able to bang one home, and then Vancouver has to open up. And the absolute worst thing that Vancouver could do is to have to open up against LAFC. We just have to remember to defend our 18 the way that we have done all season. Make the easy clearance if we have to. That's the bottom line. But since this is a must-win, expect the unexpected. They are going to throw the entire kitchen sink at us. And I still think it is going to be a 3-2 LAFC victory. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. Schmurdy thinks it's going to PKs. Oscar thinks it's going to be 2-0. And a bunch of you, I'm getting odds predictions and over-unders. I love it. Genuine Cougar, he's taken the mythical line of 3-2 that Scarf just gave out. I'm really hoping Coug gets a win on there at plus 2,000. Could be a lot of fun. Who knows? But look, hopefully after this match, we don't get our credit cards charged so that we have to play one more match at BMO Stadium against Vancouver. I don't want to play Vancouver anymore, you guys. I want to be done with Vancouver. Y'all want to be done with Vancouver. And we want to be able to move on to play the winner of the Seattle-Houston series. Seattle getting the first one on PKs in a 0-0 nail-biter. We'll see what happens with Houston. But either way, I've got 3-2. A lot of you in the chat have your score lines. Hit us up at Defenders of the Bank on all your social media outlets. And again, however you access our platform, whenever you access our platform, thank you. Thank you. And don't forget, if you want to order sports memorabilia of any kind, t-shirts, hats, all kinds of stuff from any professional club that they make team items for, head on over to 500level.com because the code works. I double checked it myself. Defenders20 for 20% off your order at 500level.com. It doesn't have to be Defenders of the Bank merch. We're not telling you to go to the defendersofthebank.com shop and to buy a whole bunch of things, but it'd be really cool if you did. What we are saying is pick your other favorite clubs out there, your other favorite sports teams. Head on over to 500level.com. Type in Defenders20 to get 20% off anything and everything you purchase from 500 Level, the wonderful people that make all the merch for Defenders of the Bank. You guys, absolutely love you. We'll see you hopefully in a couple of weeks, not next week at BMO Stadium. Have a wonderful evening, you guys. And you know how we like to end each and every one of these things that we do. Bye-bye.